Good morning, students. Today we begin with grammar for the first term. For your exams, you will have this. If we have exam, you will have this, as well as the first unit grammar if we have an exam. Okay, so be prepared. Don't wait for last moment. Okay, now I'm teaching punctuations today. It's part of your portion, but I'm sure you already know what it is. But I still have to teach you all because it's part of your portion. So please pay attention, and if you all know, it's very good. You don't really have to study much. Clear? Okay, so I'm just making the concepts more clear. Punctuation is the art of putting in correct marks or stops in the appropriate places while writing so that the reader gets the correct meaning of what is written. It means that when someone is reading any lesson, a poem or whatever, when you have a punctuation mark in a sentence, it gives you an indication of something. Like for example, if you have a sentence and you have a full stop, that means it is the end of the sentence. Well, as when you have a comma, that means it's a short or a small pause and the sentence has to still continue. Yeah. So the full stop and the comma have their own meaning. So in the same way, there are many other punctuation marks which have their own meaning. Now, I will tell you what are the punctuation marks and where and when to use them. Following are the principal marks of punctuation. Now, I'm not going to teach you each and every punctuation mark. I'm going to teach you what is more important from the English point of view. Yes, there are some punctuation marks which are like braces, which is used only in maths. Very rarely it's used in English. Okay. Okay. Following are the principal marks of punctuation. First, the capital. This is something that you'll already know. It is used to begin a sentence. So, when you begin a sentence, you always start with a capital letter. Like, see this. This is the first word of the sentence. This is the first alphabet. So, the first alphabet is always capital. Same way this. First word, first letter in capital. So, the example. The boy was very happy. So, the first word, but the first letter, T, is in capital. For proper nouns, when you're talking of the names of people, names of places, names of animals, birds, the names that you are giving to them. Yes, not just the general name. Yes, not just a dog, not just a cat, but the name of a particular dog, the name of a particular cat, not just a building, the name of a particular building, not just a country or a city, the name of a particular city or a country. Okay. Now, this also includes your days of the week, months of the year, names of all the planets. All this will be in capital. The name, okay. Now see the example. Rima is the name of a girl. The Yamuna. See, why is in capital? Because Y is the name of the river. Maharashtra is the name of the state, so M capital. Saturn, the name of a planet, so S capital. Monday, the name of a day of the week. So it starts with M in capital. January, J begins in capital because January is the name of the month of the year. Now, green lawns could be the name of a place or name of a building. And Carmel Convent, as you know, it has to start in capital because it's the name of a particular school. Next, for words like I and the interjection O. So, when you talk of I by itself, not I with anything else, like not I over here, not in the middle of anything. I is standing by itself. It will always be in capital. And O, when it's by itself, also it's always in capital. Or even if you're writing the exclamation O, OH, that time also O will always be in capital. Okay, your exclamatory mark, either O by itself or OH. Clear? Now let's see the example. Peda is my favorite sweetmeat. So, you see it's not the beginning of a new sentence. It's a continuation because there's a comma here. But I is by itself, so it's in capital. Shall eat all of it. The next example. Oh my, what have I done? Here you have both I as in capital And O, here O, since it's also the first alphabet, it's in capital, but here by itself also it is in capital. Next one, those referring to God. So whenever you talk about God, not only the word God, but anything you're talking like His grace, He helps us. Yes, that H will be in capital. Now, I know that God, see G capital, will help me for He, H capital, is all merciful. Now He, there is no full stop here, it's not the first letter of the sentence, but still H is in capital. Then here also if I say His grace is never ending, so H will be in capital. I can just put a comma over here, okay? Second, the full stop. In British English, it's called a full stop. In American English, it's called a period. And this is the mark, the full stop, just one dot. Now, when is it used? At the end of assertive and imperative sentences, like you're just making a statement. Okay, assertive sentence. Like, I am a girl, right now I'm teaching a class, the students are listening to me, they are watching the video. Today is a dull day, today is Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. Okay, this is a statement. So, there, the end of it, when your statement is over, you will put a full stop. And imperative sentences when you're giving an order, making a request or a wish. Yes, at the end of it also you will have a full stop, like shut up, get down, open your book, please give me a glass of water. Okay. Next is after abbreviations and initials. Now abbreviations are short forms like MA. The short full form of it is Master of Arts. And initials are only when you take the first letter of the whole word, like the name of your school, Fatima High School. So you take the first letter F, then H for high, and S for school, FHS. Clear? So that's your, okay, I'll give this as an example here. So these are called as initials when you take only the first letter of the whole word. And abbreviations is when you shorten the word. That is called abbreviations. So here you see M, you have a full stop. A, you have a full stop. Your T is the whatever her name is, you have a full stop. A, whatever the name is, you have a full stop. Okay. Next you go to comma. Comma, you have, this is the punctuation mark for comma. When it's used to mark off a quotation from the rest of the sentence in direct speech. So when you're talking about someone in direct speech, yes, you're saying the exact words what someone else said. To separate those words, you will put a comma to separate the words from the rest of the sentence. Clear? Now, see, Cinderella said, comma. Then here you have the exact words. I have lost my slipper. So you're separating these, the exact words, with a comma from the rest of the sentence. Next, to separate clauses in a sentence. So in a sentence, you have main clause, subordinate clause. At that time, you will put a comma to separate both the clauses. The policeman caught the boy. This is a complete sentence, so it's a main clause. But he wasn't the thief. This is incomplete. This depends on this, so it is a subordinate clause. So both of these are separated by a comma. To separate words in a list. Now, if I say I went to the shop and I brought a pencil, an eraser, a chewing gum, a chocolate, a Cadbury. So, I'm naming so many things in consecutively. Yes, one after the other. So, at that time, you will have a comma. Now, read this. The rich prince owned cars, motorcycles, and boats. Now, very important to note over here is, not only do you put a comma between two words in a continuous list, but when you have the second last item in the list and the last item, in between you will have and here you will have no comma. You will have no comma. So supposing I had added over here a bungalow, a jet, a ski, all this would have a comma. Yes, but here when you are having the second last item and the last item in a continuous list, you will have the word and, which indicates now after this you have just one more item. Clear? Next, to separate nouns or names used to address someone from the rest of the sentence. So here, see the example. Priya can you pass the salt please? Or if I say class, stand up. So the word class will be followed by a comma. So after class you will put a comma. Okay, because I'm addressing the whole class. So the person whom you are talking to, you're addressing like Priya, or in this sentence, there you will put a comma. To separate each pair of words connected by and or. So like, see the example, you'll understand. In school and colleges. So this is a pair, school and colleges. So whenever this word and is used, or even schools or colleges, if it was, okay. So that time you will use a comma. Second pair would be public places and colonies. So again you will use a comma. Okay. To separate the words yes, no, please, thank you, well. See the examples? Yes. After yes, I have a comma. I will do it. So you're separating the yes from the rest of the sentence. Give me a glass of water. Separating it from please. Supposing I had to write it the other way around. This please, if I had to put here. So please, comma, give me a glass of water, and there would be a full stop here, and this G would be small. So, but wherever you have to separate these words. Yes, no, please, thank you, well. Okay. Next example, well, comma, I want you to come. Okay. To separate short coordinate clauses of a compound sentence. So, if, as you know, a compound sentence is made up of many main clauses joined together. Okay. Now, see here. I came, I saw, I conquered. What is the main clause? I told you a complete sentence. So, here I came is one complete sentence. I saw one complete sentence. I conquered one complete sentence. All these three complete sentences or main clauses are put together to form one sentence. That's why you have a full stop only at the end. So, to separate this, you will have a comma in between. Clear? Next, to indicate the omission of a word, especially a verb. When you're writing a word and you're omitting a verb in between, that's when you will put a comma. See the example? I received a watch, and my brother, I did not put the word received here. Received is a verb, an action. Instead of the verb received, I put a comma. A bicycle. Okay, next. The exclamatory mark. This is the exclamatory mark. At the end of an exclamatory sentence, this is very easy. At the end of an exclamatory sentence, at the end of an interjection or an exclamation, you will have an exclamatory mark. The words which indicate that it is an exclamation. Okay, like hooray, wow, oh, alas. These words will tell you that it is an exclamation, and at the end of the word you will put a comma. See. Now at the end of an exclamatory sentence, now here you do not have these exclamatory words, hooray, oh, wow, alas, no, but it is showing shock, it is showing some feeling of excitement. Yes, that's when you are putting an exclamatory mark at the end of the sentence. This is a whole exclamatory sentence. This is an exclamation or an interjection. Okay. Next we have the question mark. This is the question mark. When you put a question mark, very easy, at the end of a sentence where you are asking a question and you expect maybe an answer in return. So, at the end, do you have enough money for the journey? Here you are asking a question, and so you have put a question mark. And when else do you use it? At the end of a question tag. See, in a question tag, this part of the sentence will be given to you. You put a comma after that and add your question tag. But your question tag is incomplete if you do not have the question mark. You will not get marks even if this is right. You will not get marks if your question mark is not there. Okay, the dash. Now there are two types of dashes. Uh, one is the N dash and the M dash. Now the N dash is a small dash, while as the M dash is double the size of the N dash. It is a long dash. Now when are these, where both the dashes used? N dash is used between numbers. N dash is used between numbers. Now I'll read it. The N dash indicates a range of numbers of a period of time. In this sense, it is used with numerals. Example, the World War II, they're telling you when. 1939 to 1945, and they're putting a dash in between. So it's telling you a period of time. Basic commodities were rationed in many countries. And here see these are numbers. The school is open to children ages 6 to 14. Again, it is a number and two numbers. In between two numbers you have a n dash. During office hours, what are the office hours? That's from 8 to 3 p.m. Someone will be here to help you with your application. So what are the numbers? 8 to 3, and you have a n dash in between. Now moving on to the m dash, which is longer, in fact double in size of the n dash. I was not able to make this double in size. I don't know where the symbol is, but when you all write it in your notes, please see that you all are making it longer than the m dash. And m dash is twice as long as the n dash when it is used after a series of nouns followed by a related idea. Like for example, see the nouns dogs, cats, donkeys. These are one after the other, a series. Yes, and they tell you about them or what happened to them. So all followed Noah into the ark. This that it's telling you an idea related to all of them. Then to separate an idea from another in a sentence if necessary. You want to make a separation between two ideas in the same sentence. That's when you will use the longer, that is the M dash. If only he had come. Yes, this is one idea. The second idea, but it is too late now. So here you have a long dash because this is a totally different idea. This is a totally different idea. You're trying to separate both the ideas. Next we have the hyphen. Your hyphen is just like your n dash. Only difference is your n dash is used between numbers and your hyphen is used between words. Now which words? It's used to connect parts of a compound word. What are compound words? When you have more than one word combined together and they form a new word. Like for example, sun is one word, in is one word, law is one word. You combine all three, they become a new word, son-in-law. And between each word you have a hyphen, not a dash, you have a hyphen. Same way, you have mouth is one word, watering is one word. Between both these words you will have a hyphen. Okay. Now we move on to the colon. A colon is marked by this, two dots. Makes a more complete pause than a semicolon. So it has more importance than a semicolon. To introduce a quotation or speech, when it is used, when you're giving a quotation, like if you're quoting Gandhiji, honesty is the best policy. Quoting people who are very important, something that is very famous, that's when you will put your colon. See, we all know the proverb. Now, what is the proverb? This. All that glitters is not to separate two opposite clauses. When you have two clauses, I told you complete sentences, but they are opposite in meaning, you will have your colon. To err means make a mistake. It's human. To forgive is divine means God's. It's like God's personality, God's virtue. Okay. Before the list of enumeration of examples. Enumeration means a number of examples. Yes, multiple examples. So you're giving a whole list of examples. So just before that also you will use a colon. Like for example, the principal part of a verb in English are. Now what are the principal part? The present tense, the past tense and the future tense. So you're giving a list of all the tenses of the verbs. That time you will have your colon. Next, introducing the formation, introduces the formation that comes after it, the information that comes after it. It tells the reader that something is coming. So something is being told, and now you know, okay, after this, like say, now we're going to have the results, and then you will have the first prize, the second prize, the third prize. So after I told you, now we'll have the, you know what is going to follow. Okay, so the example, I've narrowed my choices down to two schools. So now you know what will be coming, the names of the two schools, Indiana or Michigan State. Okay, next, the semicolon. This is a dot and a comma under it. The semicolon represents a pause of greater importance than shown by the comma. So a semicolon is more important than a comma but less important than a colon when it's used to separate pairs of words. So two pairs of words to make them separate from another two pairs of words. So tail, tail, see a semicolon, bail, bail, a semicolon, nail, nail, it's in, so you have a full stop. To connect two complete sentences that are related. Now previously you had colon when they were opposite in meaning. Here you have when they're related you will have a semicolon. I am ready to go semicolon. I hope you will get ready soon. Next, roses are red, violets are purple. So here you're talking of the same thing. You're talking of flowers and their colors. So they are the same idea. So you are using a semicolon in between. Okay, now we go on to the next, that is your inverted commas. Inverted commas very easy. The words exactly spoken by someone. Those words will come in the inverted commas. Okay. The inverted commas are used to enclose actual words of the speaker, the exact words. Say for example, my mother said. What are the actual words? Don't be late. So don't be late will be in inverted commas. Now we talk of apostrophe. When we apostrophe is just like a comma but it's not down, it's up. It's in between the alphabets on top. When some letter or letters have been omitted, so when you are removing some letters and forming the word, like can't, instead of cannot, you are shortening it, N and O is omitted and you put an apostrophe. Don't is do not, you are removing one alphabet, that's O, and putting an apostrophe. Ever, E-V-E-R, you are removing the V and putting an apostrophe. Possession, when you are trying to show that this belongs to somebody, this is somebody's possession, that's when you put an apostrophe. Like Ramu's book, so the book belongs to whom? Ramu. Kamla's house, so the house belongs to whom? Kamla. So at that time you will put an apostrophe and S. To form plurals, here you are forming plurals of the shortened forms of the words. Yes, you are forming plurals of the shortened form of the words like MAs, MLAs. Your plurals are formed in many ways. You add just S or ES or IES. But here when you're adding apostrophe S is when you're talking of the shortened form. Yes, the shortened forms of the words, not your regular words. Okay. Next, we're talking of bracket. Now, yes, this is a big surprise. This is actually bracket, and this is parenthesis. Well, as we generally call this as bracket all the time. Yes, but this is actually bracket, and this is parenthesis. When they are used to add information to something in a sentence or quotation. So when I want to add some more information about something that is already there. Yes, but I don't want to add it as part of the sentence. This is just an extra information for the person reading. That's when I will put it in brackets. The play quotes frequently from the Mahabharata. Now you want to tell what is Mahabharata. Not everyone will know about the Mahabharata. So then you're telling an ancient Indian epic poem. Okay. Then the president said, we are going to need to hire OOP. Now what does OOP stand for? Object Oriented Programming Expert. Okay. This is the meaning of OOP. So I put it in bracket. Experts in the next year. Now we go to parentheses. Parentheses show that the material inside the parentheses is less important than the main part of the sentence. So whatever is inside the parentheses is not so important. Like for example, I give you all, when I'm giving you all an essay or I give you all notes, if the word is very hard to remember, I give you another word or which means the same but is much more easier. But it is less important because as you're going to a higher standard, you need to know the much more difficult word. Yes, it's as per your standard, but it's just for children who cannot remember, so that they uh, can remember the easier word for those children who are weak in studies or find it difficult to remember. So it's not so important. More important is the actual words. Often we can replace them with commas, but parentheses make the material seem less important. So you can just put a comma and give the information, but then this is generally to show that it is not so important. Okay, the world's leading automakers now. Who are the world's leading automakers? Toyota, Volkswagen, and General Motors are all pursuing hybrid technology. So they're using not just diesel, they're also using gas, they're using other ways of driving the vehicle or running the vehicle. Maybe the engines are using two types of technologies. Okay, Volkswagen. Okay, Jennifer's cat. Now, what sort of a cat is it? What is the type of cat? Is an Angora cat. Is very friendly. Next, the last one is ellipsis or ellipsis points. Now that is this three dots. The bracket is not there. It's just the dots. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that also stands for etc. Generally you say etc. etc. So when you take the dots, yes. The ellipsis is a series of three dots. So you're not supposed to make more than three dots. Yes. Shows that something has been removed from a sentence. Example. The report indicates that we can expect sales of 45 million units next year if conditions, means not just conditions or some other things also, maybe they have the money, they have other things, remain favorable. And when else it is used, shows a pause or an unfinished sentence. So I really don't know what I'm going to do. So you don't know what, you are just thinking about it. So this is your pause and your sentence is unfinished. Okay, you're going to do with what? About your studies, about your health, about your work. That's incomplete. Okay. So everything is over and I've given you exercise. And when you all are doing it, do remember that your first word always starts with capital, and if it's an assertive sentence, you will end it with an, or imperative sentence end it with a full stop. Wherever required, your question mark, exclamatory mark, all your eyes always capital. Yes. Also names of the subjects generally are capitals. Here I have put it because I did not tell you all, but I'm telling you all now. Names of the subjects, English, maths, all these are always in capital. Now, names of people, if you find it anywhere, that will also be in capital. Okay. Words that are said, exact words will be in inverted commas. Clear? Okay. I hope you are able to do this. If you have any doubt, then please do message me. Thank you.